stuff. What's up, people? It's your boy Jatwa. I'm here today to talk to you about KSP2. First of all, I want to give a massive thanks to Private Division, who sponsored the entire thing, flew us out there, let us talk with Star Theory, and got us in the packs. So it was an amazing thing. That was my first PAX ever, and it was absolutely amazing time going to Seattle and meeting with Star Theory and the amazing team they've put together. I keep saying amazing because it completely blew my mind. These people at Star Theory, they understand what it is to be a Kerbal. They understand Kerbal Space Program, and I'm very hyped to see what the final product will be when they are done. My hat is off to Star Theory for inviting us to their home and showing us around their studio and showing us the progress they've made. Let's jump right into what was able to be confirmed with KSP2. The terrain system will be PQS Plus. At the time, will not include caves, unless that changes. Water is in the works, and I am hoping it will have some dramatic improvements from KSP1. The video that they use, that was using in-game assets, but it was not using in-game graphics. So if you look very closely, you'll see the Poodle engine, and it was using the old model of the Poodle, Axial Tilt being included. They have several performance increases that they're adding in. They had mentioned that they would do multi-threading core as needed, and that their current performance increases has allowed for a much higher part count without lag. They are tackling each single instance as its own, and said that they have been able to remove a lot of the reasons for the lag. So I am really hoping to build some ginormous, ridiculous size crafts in the future. They had mentioned that the DRM would not be included for single player, and for multiplayer they would have a way to be able to validate users. So that being said, it's going to play similar to games like Minecraft, where you can actually have users jump in and have some validation going on. They actually have included more scatters and more variation to the scatters to make for a more natural environment. When you land in the woods, it's going to have various trees and rocks that are going to be there for you, and they will have colliders. Now, you're not going to have colliders on your grass, but you will have colliders on the rocks and trees, which will make for a very fun time with 4x4s. They are adding some additional fuels. The one that they showed us was a metallic hydrogen engine, and it looks absolutely spectacular. The planet rings that they have included actually have the planet ring material as separate entities. Now, I asked if they were going to have colliders, but unfortunately in my notes I did not detail the answer, so I am unsure if the colliders will be present for the different entities in the planetary rings. They will have scripting for modding. Now, what they showed us was they were dropped in some Lua coding, and it was being injected in the game in real time. So they were able to create some realistic or non-realistic orbits for planets and crafts, and they showed us some absolutely bonkers systems that they were able to create. But I was hoping that the planets would collide and explode and create rings, but that's not going to be included. The planets will not collide with one another. That would be an interesting thing to see if you landed on a planet and if another planet went through it, if you would collide with that planet. That would be an interesting thing to see. They were able to spawn vessels, and they spawned 2 vessels almost side by side in orbit of a planet that they had spawned in that was orbiting a sun that they had spawned in, which was very, very amazing to see. It may not be Lua in its final instance. It would be able to be utilized by mods out there. We're thinking things like Telemachus and KOS. There is customizable colors for suits, which is going to play into the multiplayer. They have emotes in there as well, which is going to be awesome. Think Astroneer, how you can wave at each other and have different emotes to each other, which is going to be really cool to see. There are going to be multiple launch pads. They had mentioned 4 launch pads for launching your rockets, and I believe they said multiple runways, which would be absolutely essential in the game. Each one they mentioned was separately destructible because, well, on this channel we like to blow things up. Colonies is going to be done with a builder, and colonies also need resources. They are working on the balancing of that. Colonies will expand when their needs are met and the Kerbals are happy. The colony builds will obey physics, so try not to build too wonky or everything will fall over. This is not Minecraft. In that instance, you will have to obey physics. And they can build overlooking canyons and cliffs. You can build runways and launch pads. So this is going to be a really powerful system, and I would love to see, I would love to get my hand on it just so I can see what craziness we can all build out there. They also mentioned there will be multiple new systems, and they actually had 2 planets that were in orbit with one another, and you can actually see how difficult it would be to interface with that. I'm really hyped to see these new systems. I'm really hyped to see some of these ring systems that they have, and I just cannot wait. We got a maybe to volumetric clouds, so that is something that I know we've all been hoping for, but we have not been able to see unless we use mods, so there may still be a need for such things. Looking at some of the images, it looks like Scatterer is going to be one of the things that are included in the base game. So you actually can see the effects, and as you're flying over different places, you can see the shadows kicking up and the different fade-ins kicking in. Things that they said not at the moment too was weather, procedural parts, and tweakable scaling, a la Tweakscale. So those are some of the things that I know we've always wanted in KSP1, but we've gotten the nod at the moment for that, which is perfectly okay. We'll just keep our fingers crossed. Things currently not planned, they do not have planned wind or any in-body physics. Things they had no comment to, which hurt my soul, multiplayer. And I wanted to talk about multiplayer, but they weren't able to talk about it. It's a game in the works. Game in development is the popular saying. So some of the wishes that we have for KSP2: ground effect, weather systems, wind, advanced terrain depth, improved water systems with supporting parts like pontoons, floats, ballast, and engines, propellers, robotics, buoyancy improvements, teams or organizations. Think of things like Synchro, how you could actually assign people to different corporations or space agencies, and each group would work together and have shared resources. Dedicated servers, permissions based on colonies, Kerbals in first person, Kerbals that lay flat or have connection points by their hands or feet, Kerbals in the builder as a part that you can assign a Kerbal to, so kind of like a little image of a Kerbal or the actual Kerbal, and you can just set whatever Kerbal you want, and then that Kerbal is visualized in that part, and then be able to see the seat or craft weight change. So that way you can kind of create your craft around the Kerbal if need be. And I'm thinking about things where we try to make manual cockpits, or when they're in their actual command seats if we're building really small rovers. And are we going to see additional cities with runways and launch pads? It would be a really far reach to ask for roads between the cities, but it would be awesome to be able to have additional cities, so you can say you're launching at Manlyville, or you're going over to EJ City, or be able to name your different cities, things like that. That would be awesome. This has been an absolutely amazing trip, and once again I want to send a heartfelt thanks to Private Division and also to Star Theory for bringing us all together. And I guess they have dubbed us the Space Boys. And if you are wondering how PAX went, then jump over to this other video that I released talking about PAX. and I hope to catch you guys in the next video. I am going to try my best to actually up my video releases again. I know I've been kind of on a slack, but I will try again and see if we can kick things off again, and let's get back up to speed. So stay tuned. There are some changes that will be happening with this channel, and we're going back full throttle again. For now, this has been your boy Jatois, and I'm out. Peace. It's actually an energy drink.